Welcome to Zukkun Knows. Nature is beautiful, majestic, and sometimes terrifying, especially when it comes to parenting. In the wild, survival matters more than love, and some animals go to extreme lengths to make sure their babies survive, even if it means hurting, abandoning, or even consuming them. Today, we're exploring the most brutal parenting methods found in nature. 1. The sand gobies disposable dad strategy. Sand gobies are tiny fish that dig nests and guard their eggs. But if the conditions aren't perfect, or if the dad gets stressed, he might eat some of his own eggs. Why? Scientists think he's making sure only the strongest survive, or maybe conserving energy. It's ruthless, but it works. 2. The cuckoo's parasitic parenting. Cuckoo birds don't raise their own chicks. Instead, they lay their eggs in other birds' nests. When the cuckoo chick hatches, it often pushes the other eggs or chicks out, monopolizing all the food. The unsuspecting foster parents raise the intruder like their own. Nature's version of identity theft. 3. The spider mom who gets eaten. In some spider species, like the black lace weaver, the mother willingly sacrifices herself. After laying eggs, she lets her spiderlings eat her alive for nourishment. It's called matrophagy. Her death gives them the energy they need to survive. It's parenting taken to the ultimate extreme. The harsh training of elephant seals. Male elephant seal pups have to fight, sometimes from birth. Dominant males bully younger ones, and mothers don't always intervene. Only the toughest survive to one day claim a beach of their own. Childhood here isn't gentle. It's a war zone. 5. The frog that vomits babies. Gastric brooding frogs, now extinct, swallowed their own fertilized eggs. The babies developed in the stomach, and the mother repressed stomach acid to protect them. Then she literally vomited out fully formed froglets. It's weird, it's real, and it's brutal on the body. 6. Komodo dragons and cannibal kids. Komodo dragon mothers lay eggs and then leave. The hatchlings are on their own, and often climb trees immediately to avoid being eaten by adult komodos, including their own mom. It's the ultimate learn fast or die scenario. 7. The harsh love of harp seals. A harp seal mother nurses her pup for just 12 days. After that, she abandons it on the ice. The pup, still helpless, must survive freezing temperatures and predators without any help. If it doesn't learn quickly, it dies. Ice-cold parenting, literally. 8. The sacrificial octopus. Once a female octopus lays her eggs, she stops eating and devotes all her energy to guarding them. She may spend months fanning them with water and keeping them clean until she dies of starvation. Her babies live, but she doesn't. 9. The sibling slaughter of sharks. In some shark species, like sand tiger sharks, embryos develop teeth in the womb. The first to hatch starts eating its unhatched siblings before birth. Only the strongest fetus survives. Survival of the fittest begins even before the shark is born. 10. Final thoughts. Is nature cruel or just efficient? To us, these methods seem harsh, but in nature, love is secondary to survival. These brutal parenting strategies aren't about being cruel. They're about giving offspring the best shot in a dangerous world. It's not kindness, it's calculation. Thanks for watching Zukkun Knows. Stay curious, stay thoughtful, and never stop questioning. See you in the next video. Welcome to Zukkun Knows. Nature is full of surprises, but few are as heartwarming and puzzling as unexpected friendships between animals. In a world driven by survival and instincts, these bonds break all the rules. Today, we're diving into the most bizarre and beautiful animal friendships ever caught on camera. 1. The owl and the cat. In Japan, a domestic cat and a barn owl named Fuku became internet legends. Instead of fearing the predator, the cat cuddled up next to it. They played, napped, and even groomed each other. Experts believe the bond was formed because both were raised together from a young age. It's an unlikely duo that proves friendship isn't always logical. 2. The dog and the cheetah. At many zoos, cheetah cubs are paired with puppies to reduce anxiety. One famous pair, Kumbali the cheetah and Kago the Labrador, became inseparable. They played chase, slept together, and even communicated in their own way. This isn't just cute, it helps cheetahs become more social and less aggressive in captivity. 3. The lion and his human dad. A man named Kevin Richardson in South Africa raised lions from cubs. As adults, they still recognize him, hugging, playing, and even licking his face. Lions are wild and dangerous, but these particular lions see him as family. It's rare, risky, and emotional. The dog and the dolphin. A golden retriever named Gunner was spotted regularly swimming with a dolphin named Delta in Florida. They'd race through the water, barking and clicking in sync. Dolphins are known to be social, but seeing one bond with a land animal like a dog, that's next level. 5. The giraffe and the ostrich. At a wildlife park in Kenya, a giraffe and an ostrich formed a surprising friendship. They ate, walked, and rested together. Normally, they wouldn't interact in the wild, but shared space and safety allowed this strange bond to grow. It's like a tall tale, but it's real. 6. The fox and the husky. In snowy Norway, a red fox kept sneaking into a husky's yard. Instead of fighting, they started playing together. Locals filmed them chasing and wrestling like siblings. Foxes are wild, but this one found a friend in a domesticated dog. It's nature going freestyle. 7. The duck and the dog. A duck named Rudy and a dog named Barkley live in the same house and act like brothers. They eat side by side, cuddle, and even get jealous when one gets attention. Their humans say they formed a real bond, not just tolerance. It's rare and adorable. 8. The tiger and the piglets. In a zoo in Thailand, abandoned piglets were placed with a tiger cub for companionship. Shockingly, the tiger accepted them and even let them climb over her. It was a temporary setup, but showed how young animals can form bonds across species if introduced early. 9. The monkey and the kitten. In Indonesia, a macaque monkey adopted a stray kitten. It carried it, fed it, and protected it like its own baby. Photos showed them snuggling and sharing food. While scientists are cautious about reading too much into it, the images sparked awe worldwide. 10. Why do these friendships happen? Scientists believe these bonds form due to shared upbringing, low-stress environments, or simple curiosity. Some animals have strong social instincts that extend beyond their own species. These friendships may seem strange, but they offer a glimpse into nature's capacity for compassion. Thanks for watching Zukkun Knows. Stay curious, stay thoughtful, and never stop questioning. See you in the next video. Welcome to Zukkun Knows. Nature isn't always honest. In fact, some of the smartest survival strategies in the animal kingdom are built on deception. From playing dead to dressing up like something they're not, animals have evolved mind-blowing ways to trick predators, prey, and even each other. Let's uncover the sneakiest survival hacks in nature. 1. The mimic octopus. This incredible cephalopod can change its color, shape, and behavior to impersonate other dangerous sea creatures, like lionfish, sea snakes, or flatfish. Depending on the threat, it picks a disguise that its predator would rather avoid. It's like an ocean spy in costume. 2. The eastern hognose snake. When threatened, this snake acts out an entire death scene. It flips on its back, sticks out its tongue, emits a foul smell, and stays motionless. If the predator isn't fooled, the snake might even twitch dramatically. It's basically wildlife theater. 3. The owl butterfly. This butterfly's wings have giant eye-like patterns that resemble an owl's face. Predators think twice before attacking, fearing a larger animal. The illusion works. Many birds avoid this harmless insect because of those intimidating eyes. The cuttlefish camouflage cuttlefish are masters of changing color, pattern, and even skin texture. They blend perfectly into their surroundings, making them nearly invisible to both predators and prey. What's wild is that they can do it instantly, even in complete darkness. 5. The killdeer bird's broken wing act. To protect its nest, the killdeer fakes an injury. When a predator approaches, it limps away, flapping one wing helplessly to lure danger away from its eggs. Once the predator is far enough, the bird miraculously heals and flies away. Genius distraction. 6. The leaf-tailed gecko. Found in Madagascar, this gecko looks exactly like a dead leaf. From its color to its jagged body outline, it disappears among real leaves. Even its movement mimics leaves blowing in the wind. It's a ninja of the forest floor. 7. The alligator snapping turtle's tongue trick. This turtle hides in muddy water with its mouth open. Inside, it wiggles a pink, worm-shaped tongue to lure fish. When a curious fish takes the bait, snap! Deception becomes dinner. 8. The bird-dropping spider. This spider disguises itself as bird poop. Yes, really. Its lumpy shape and white-brown color make it unappetizing and invisible to predators. Disgust is its best defense. 9. The false cleaner fish. Most cleaner fish help big fish by eating parasites off their skin. But some mimics, like the saber-toothed blenny, pretend to be cleaners, then bite chunks out of their clients. It's betrayal in the reef. 10. Why deception works in nature. Deception gives animals an edge. Whether it's to avoid being eaten, catch food, or protect their young, trickery offers a survival advantage. And the more unexpected the trick, the more likely it is to work. Nature is full of lies, and that's what makes it fascinating. Thanks for watching Zukkun Knows. Stay curious, stay thoughtful, and never stop questioning. See you in the next video. Welcome to Zukkun Knows. Have you ever wondered why we suddenly lose or gain an hour every year? One day you're waking up to sunlight, and the next it's pitch dark again at the same time. That's daylight saving time, or DST. It sounds simple, but its history is surprisingly messy, political, and kind of strange. Let's explore why we do this, who started it, and whether it still makes any sense today. 1. What is daylight saving time? Exactly. Daylight saving time is the practice of setting the clock forward by 1 hour during the warmer months to extend evening daylight. In spring, we spring forward, losing 1 hour. In fall, we fall back, gaining 1 hour. The goal? To make better use of natural daylight. Sounds clever, right? But wait until you hear how complicated and controversial it gets. 2. Ancient origins of time manipulation. The idea of changing time to fit the sun isn't new. The ancient Romans used different clocks for winter and summer. Even before modern clocks, people adjusted schedules based on sunlight. But the concept of changing official time for a whole country came much later. 3. The real father of DST, George Hudson. In 1895, a New Zealand entomologist named George Hudson suggested a 2-hour shift in summer. Why? Because he wanted more daylight after work, to collect bugs. Seriously, Hudson wasn't joking. He valued sunlight for his hobby so much that he basically invented modern DST. Weird, right? 4. Germany makes it official for war. DST first became law in 1916, during World War I. Germany and Austria adopted it to conserve fuel. If people used sunlight instead of artificial light, they'd save coal. Soon, the UK and other nations joined in. Daylight saving became a war tactic. The US and the chaos that followed. The US joined the DST club in 1918, but people hated it. Farmers complained, workers grumbled. After the war, the US scrapped it, but cities like New York kept using it. That led to a bizarre situation. Different cities had different times. One train ride could involve multiple time shifts. Imagine that confusion. 6. The Uniform Time Act and Standardization. In 1966, the U.S. finally tried to clean things up with the Uniform Time Act. It allowed states to choose whether to observe DST, but forced them to be consistent. No more chaos. Still, Hawaii and most of Arizona said no thanks and opted out completely. 7. Is it really saving energy? One of the main arguments for DST was energy conservation, but recent studies show it might not help much at all. Yes, people use less light in the evening, but they use more heating or air conditioning. Overall savings? Tiny or even negative. Oops. 8. The health and safety debate. Changing the clock messes with our sleep. Heart attacks spike after the spring switch. Car accidents increase. Productivity drops. Even animals get confused. Some scientists say DST is basically a mini jet lag. Twice a year. Not great for your body. 9. Global confusion. Not everyone does it. More than 140 countries have tried DST at some point. But today, less than 70 still use it. Japan, China, Russia, and India don't bother. The European Union is considering dropping it altogether. Even in the US, there's a growing movement to end it for good. 10. So, why do we still do it? The short answer, politics. Changing national time policies is a bureaucratic nightmare. Some industries, like retail and tourism, love the longer evenings. Others hate it. Everyone complains, but few agree on what to replace it with. Final thoughts, daylight. Saving time began with good intentions. More sunlight, less fuel use. But today, it might be doing more harm than good. It disrupts our lives, our health, and barely saves energy. Maybe it's time to ask the real question. Not why we do DST, but why we still do. Thanks for watching Zukkun Knows. If this made you rethink time itself, you're not alone. See you next time. Hopefully not an hour late. Welcome to Zukkun Knows. Imagine a war that never officially started, had no clear battlefield, and yet involved almost every country on Earth. That was the Cold War. While no nuclear missiles were fired directly between the US and the Soviet Union, this cold conflict shaped the modern world in ways most people don't even realize. In this episode, we'll explore how the Cold War began, the hidden battles that were fought, the strange ways it influenced our everyday lives, and how it continues to affect global politics even today. Let's dive into one of the most important and least understood chapters in modern history. 1. What was the Cold War? The Cold War was a decades-long conflict between two global superpowers, the United States and the Soviet Union. But this wasn't a typical war. There were no direct battles between these giants. Instead, it was a war of ideologies, economics, technology, and influence. At the heart of it were two very different visions for how the world should work. Capitalism versus communism. And while the weapons were mostly silent, the consequences were loud and global. 2. Why did it start? The Cold War began after World War II. The US and the Soviet Union had worked together to defeat Nazi Germany, but their alliance quickly turned into rivalry. The Soviet Union wanted to spread communism. The US wanted to contain it. As Europe recovered from the war, both powers tried to gain influence over countries through aid, threats, and alliances. This led to a divided Europe, and eventually a divided world. 3. Two opposing ideologies. Capitalism versus communism. Democracy versus dictatorship. Freedom of speech versus state control. These weren't just political systems. They were deeply emotional beliefs. The US portrayed the Soviet Union as an evil empire. The USSR painted the US as greedy and imperialistic. This war of ideas was fought through newspapers, radio, education, even Hollywood movies. 4. Proxy wars and conflicts. While the US and USSR didn't fight each other directly, they supported opposing sides in other countries' conflicts. These are known as proxy wars. Some major examples include the Korean War, the Vietnam War, the Soviet-Afghan War. These wars killed millions and left lasting scars on many nations, all because the superpowers wanted to win without directly clashing. 5. The nuclear arms race. Perhaps the most terrifying aspect of the Cold War was the nuclear arms race. Both sides built thousands of nuclear weapons, enough to destroy the planet many times over. The strategy was called mutually assured destruction, or MAD. If one side launched nukes, the other would too, so neither side dared to start. People lived in fear of nuclear war. Schools held duck and cover drills. Families built bomb shelters. The threat was everywhere. 6. The space race. The Cold War didn't just stay on Earth. It extended into space. The Soviets launched Sputnik, the first artificial satellite, in 1957. The US responded with NASA and the race to the moon. In 1969, the US landed the first humans on the moon. But behind the science and adventure was a deep desire to prove technological superiority. The space race accelerated innovation, but it was driven by fear and pride, not just curiosity. 7. Spies, secrets, and surveillance. Spying was everywhere. The CIA in the US and the KGB in the USSR ran massive operations. Double agents, secret missions, and elaborate codes were the norm. Some of the most dramatic Cold War stories came from espionage. Books and movies like James Bond were inspired by real events, but real spies lived far more dangerous and less glamorous lives. 8. Everyday life in the Cold War. The Cold War wasn't just politics, it shaped people's lives. In the US, there was fear of communism and political witch hunts like McCarthyism. In the USSR, people lived under strict state control. Even pop culture was affected. Music, film, and art were used to promote ideologies or criticize them. The Cold War was everywhere, even if you didn't see it directly. 9. The fall of the Berlin Wall and the end of the Cold War. The Cold War began to end in the late 1980s. The Soviet economy was collapsing. Its people wanted change. Meanwhile, democratic movements were rising across Eastern Europe. In 1989, the Berlin Wall, a symbol of Cold War division, fell. In 1991, the Soviet Union officially dissolved. The Cold War was over, but its legacy was just beginning. 10. How it still affects us. Today, many of today's global tensions, from NATO and Russia to nuclear concerns with North Korea and Iran, have roots in the Cold War. Even the internet, GPS, and many modern technologies were accelerated by Cold War competition. To understand the modern world, you have to understand the Cold War. It's the silent force behind so many things we take for granted. Thanks for watching Zukkun Knows. History isn't just about the past. It's the lens that helps us see the present clearly. See you next time. And remember, knowledge is your best defense. Welcome to Zukkun Knows. September 11th, 2001. A day that changed the world forever. 4 airplanes were hijacked. 2 crashed into the Twin Towers of the World Trade Center in New York City. 1 hit the Pentagon. Another crashed in a field in Pennsylvania. Nearly 3,000 people died. But more than 20 years later, many still ask, what really happened on September 11th? Let's break down what we know, what's still debated, and why this event continues to haunt us. 1. The official story. According to the US government, 19 hijackers from the terrorist group Al-Qaeda, led by Osama bin Laden, coordinated a suicide attack using commercial airplanes. Their motive? To strike at American power, economically, militarily, and emotionally. The attack was planned from Afghanistan and executed with brutal precision. After the attacks, the US launched the War on Terror, invaded Afghanistan, and later Iraq. 2. The timeline of events. 8:46 a.m. Flight 11 hits the North Tower of the World Trade Center. 9:03 a.m. Flight 175 crashes into the South Tower. 9:37 a.m. Flight 77 hits the Pentagon. 9:59 a.m. The South Tower collapses. 10:03 a.m. Flight 93 crashes in Pennsylvania. 10:28 a.m. The North Tower collapses. Everything happened in under 2 hours. Live on television. The world watched in disbelief. 3. Why it shocked the world. It wasn't just the scale of destruction, it was the symbolism. The Twin Towers represented global finance. The Pentagon was America's military brain. The attackers used planes as weapons, civilians as targets. It was a new kind of terror. The rise of conspiracy theories. Almost immediately, questions began to surface. How could 4 planes be hijacked so easily? Why did the towers collapse so perfectly, almost like controlled demolitions? What about the mysterious collapse of Building 7, which wasn't hit by a plane? Was the US government involved? Or at least aware? Some believe the government let it happen, or even made it happen. These ideas are not backed by official evidence, but they remain popular in many circles. 5. What investigations found? The 9/11 Commission report was released in 2004. It concluded that the attacks were the result of a failure of imagination, communication, and coordination across intelligence agencies. The report confirmed the Al-Qaeda connection and described how the plot was carried out. But it didn't fully convince skeptics. 6. Building 7. The biggest question mark? World Trade Center Building 7 collapsed at 5:20 p.m. No plane hit it, but it fell in seconds. The official explanation, fires caused by debris weakened its structure. Critics say the fall looked like a controlled demolition. Engineers and conspiracy theorists have debated this for decades. 7. Motives and geopolitical consequences. After September 11th, the U.S. changed dramatically. The Patriot Act expanded government surveillance. Airport security became strict and permanent. 2 major wars followed, costing trillions of dollars and thousands of lives. Some wonder, did anyone benefit from the attack? Oil companies? Military contractors? Intelligence agencies? These questions fuel the ongoing suspicion. 8. The role of the media. On September 11th, the media played a central role. People watched events unfold in real time. News anchors struggled to keep up. Later, documentaries like Loose Change promoted alternative theories. YouTube and social media helped spread doubts, true or not. 9. Why people still doubt tragedy breeds questions. When the answers feel incomplete or too convenient, people seek alternatives. The sheer emotional weight of 9/11 makes some question the narrative out of grief, distrust, or fear. Some just want to believe there's more to the story. 10. What can we learn? Whether you believe the official story or question it, one thing is clear. 9/11 changed the world. It reshaped laws, wars, culture, and security. The truth matters, but so does understanding why people doubt. That's part of the story too. Thanks for watching Zukkun Knows. Stay thoughtful, stay curious, and never stop asking questions. See you next time. Welcome to Zukkun Knows, Freemasons. The name alone sparks curiosity. Some say they control the world from the shadows. Others call them an old-fashioned club of gentlemen. So what's the truth? Let's break down the origins, facts, and conspiracies surrounding one of the most mysterious organizations in history. 1. What does Freemason mean? The word Freemason comes from medieval stonemasons, skilled builders who worked on cathedrals and castles in Europe. Free likely meant they weren't tied to a feudal lord and could travel for work. Over time, their craft guilds evolved into social and philosophical groups, and by the 1700s, Freemasonry became a symbolic fraternity rather than a builders' union. 2. The origins of Freemasonry. Modern Freemasonry was officially established in 1717 in London, when 4 lodges came together to form the Grand Lodge of England. From there, it spread across Europe, the Americas, and eventually the world. The organization values personal growth, ethical living, charity, and brotherhood. Its teachings are often delivered through rituals and allegories based on architecture and biblical stories, especially the story of the Temple of Solomon. 3. What do Freemasons believe? Despite all the secrecy, Freemasons aren't a religion. They do require a belief in a supreme being, but they don't care which religion you follow. Their core values include truth, relief, charity, brotherly love. They use symbolic tools like the square and compass to represent moral lessons. 4. What happens in a Masonic lodge? A lodge is the basic unit of Freemasonry, like a local chapter. Inside, members meet to discuss philosophy, perform rituals, and conduct charitable work. The rituals are secret, but they often involve symbolic drama, oaths, and lessons. There are also different degrees, usually entered apprentice, fellow craft, and master mason, each with its own initiation. 5. Who can join? Freemasonry is technically open to anyone who believes in a supreme being, is of good character, is usually recommended by a current member. In the past, it was exclusive to white men, but many lodges today accept people of any race and background. There are even women-only and mixed-gender Masonic organizations. 6. Famous Freemasons in history. Many major historical figures were Freemasons, or are rumored to have been. George Washington, Benjamin Franklin, Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart, Winston Churchill, Voltaire, Mark Twain, Simon Bolivar. Even in Japan, names like Yukichi Fukuzawa and Soseki Natsume have been associated with Freemasonry, though evidence is limited. 7. Why the secrecy? Freemasons aren't exactly secret. They have websites, buildings, and public events. But what goes on inside is private. This secrecy dates back to times when religious or political beliefs could get you killed. Keeping rituals private helped protect members and preserve the symbolic teachings. 8. The conspiracy theories. Here's where it gets weird. Some people believe Freemasons control world governments. They're part of the New World Order. They perform occult rituals. They're linked to the Illuminati. They communicate through secret handshakes and symbols. And yes, people point to the US dollar bill with its pyramid and all-seeing eye as evidence. But there's no proof that Freemasons run the world. 9. What's the truth? Freemasonry is real. It's a fraternal organization with a long history, rituals, and influential members. But the idea that they control the world, that's more myth than reality. Like any powerful network, they have influence, but probably not magical powers. 10. Why are we still talking about them? Because mystery is powerful. Freemasonry blends history, symbolism, power, and secrecy into a perfect storm for curiosity. And in an age of misinformation and mistrust, secret groups always attract attention. Thanks for watching Zukkun Knows. Stay curious, question everything, and maybe keep an eye out for those squares and compasses. See you next time. Welcome to Zukkun Knows. Governments print the money. Banks hold the money. But who really decides how it moves? Who profits when economies rise or crash? Some believe the true power lies not in politics, but in the people who control finance itself. Let's explore the rise of the Rothschilds and the quiet forces behind the world's wealth. 1. What does it mean to control the world's money? When we talk about control over money, we don't just mean printing it. We're talking about deciding who gets loans, which countries receive bailouts, and how global debt is managed. It's about influence over entire economies, not through politics, but through finance. 2. The rise of the Rothschild family. In the late 1700s, Meyer Amschel Rothschild started a banking business in Frankfurt, Germany. He sent his 5 sons across Europe to London, Paris, Vienna, Naples, and Frankfurt, creating a network of trusted family-run banks. They financed kings, armies, and revolutions. And they didn't pick sides. They backed both, as long as it made profit. 3. How they spread across Europe. By the 1800s, the Rothschilds had become the most powerful banking family in Europe. Their secret, trust, speed, and information. Using a private courier network faster than any postal system, they often knew about the outcomes of wars or political changes before governments did. That gave them the edge in buying or selling bonds before anyone else could. The power of lending to nations. What happens when a country needs money fast? It borrows from those who have it. The Rothschilds mastered the art of lending to nations. They weren't just wealthy bankers. They were state-level financiers. And unlike politicians, they didn't need elections. Their influence was based on debt. 5. Rothschild and Company. Today, still in the game. Many people assume the family disappeared, but they didn't. Today, Rothschild and Company is a private investment bank handling mergers, acquisitions, and ultra-wealthy clients. The company operates in over 40 countries, though it's deliberately low profile. Their exact wealth is unknown, but estimates range from billions to even trillions, depending on who you ask. 6. The invisible hand of central banks. Here's where things get interesting. Central banks like the US Federal Reserve, the European Central Bank, and the Bank of England influence global markets. But they're not government-run. They're independent. So, who influences them? Some conspiracy theorists claim that families like the Rothschilds helped create or still influence these institutions. There's no direct proof, but the historical connections are undeniable. 7. Control through gold and debt. The Rothschilds had major stakes in global gold markets. They financed gold mines and helped set global gold prices for over a century. Add to that their position in international bond markets, and you get a group that could quietly sway national currencies and economies without headlines. 8. The conspiracy theories and why they won't die. There are endless claims that the Rothschilds run the Illuminati, that they control the World Bank, that they engineered economic crashes. Most of these theories are unproven, but they persist. Why? Because the family is wealthy, private, and historically influential. Perfect ingredients for speculation. 9. Truth versus theory. What we really know. So, are the Rothschilds secretly running the world? Probably not, but they've undeniably shaped financial history. Their role in the development of modern banking, war finance, and central banking is real. And their modern influence, though quieter, is still very present in elite financial circles. 10. Final thoughts. Money makes the world go round, but who decides how it spins? Governments may lead, but those who lend to them, they hold a different kind of power. Whether the Rothschilds still pull the strings or not, their story shows us that real power often moves in silence. Thanks for watching Zukkun Knows. Stay sharp, stay skeptical, and always follow the money. And if you want to keep uncovering the truth with us, make sure to subscribe. Welcome to Zukkun Knows. What if the biggest decisions about the world weren't made in public, but in secret? Imagine a private meeting where presidents, billionaires, bankers, and royalty gather, with no press, no records, and no accountability. It's not fiction. It's called the Bilderberg Group, and it's very real. Let's take a closer look at the meeting that some say runs the world. 1. What is the Bilderberg Group? The Bilderberg Group is a real annual meeting of around 120 to 150 political leaders, CEOs, royalty, and media moguls. It began in 1954 at the Hotel de Bilderberg in the Netherlands, hence the name. The stated goal? To promote dialogue between Europe and North America. But with such powerful guests and no transparency, many suspect more is going on. 2. Who attends these meetings? Over the years, attendees have included U.S. presidents and top officials, NATO generals, prime ministers from the UK, Canada, and Europe, tech CEOs and billionaires, royalty like Prince Charles and Queen Beatrix. The meetings are invitation only, and attendees are not allowed to disclose what was discussed. 3. What makes it so mysterious? Unlike official global summits like the G7, Bilderberg meetings are strictly off the record. No press is allowed, no recordings are made, no minutes are published. Attendees are asked not to speak publicly about what happened. This secrecy fuels endless speculation. The rules of the game, the Chatham House rule. The meetings follow the Chatham House rule, which means participants can use the information received, but they cannot reveal who said it. This allows for freer discussion, but also makes it impossible to hold anyone accountable. 5. What do they talk about? The topics are often released vaguely, such as global trends, technology, or geopolitics. But given the attendee list, many believe wars have been planned here, economic policies coordinated, even EU leadership choices influenced. There's no way to verify any of it, but the patterns are suspicious. 6. Why the conspiracies won't die. The secrecy, power, and exclusivity make the Bilderberg Group a perfect conspiracy magnet. Critics believe it's the steering committee of the New World Order. Democracy is bypassed entirely by elite deals. Global media outlets are represented, yet never report on it. 7. Real power or just a club? Defenders argue it's just a private forum for open dialogue. Critics say Why not have dialogue in public? The presence of corporate and political elites behind closed doors is enough to raise eyebrows. 8. Media silence. Coincidence or control? Many major news outlets attend, but rarely report on the event. Some believe this is due to self-censorship. Others think media leaders are complicit. Whatever the case, the lack of coverage keeps the public in the dark. 9. Notable moments and leaks. Though secrecy is tight, some leaks have occurred over the years, including claims of plans for digital currencies, pandemic responses, technocratic government influence. Again, unverified but suspiciously predictive. 10. Final thoughts. The Bilderberg Group is not fiction, it's real. But what exactly happens behind those doors? We may never know. In a world that demands transparency, why do some of the most powerful still operate in the shadows? Thanks for watching Zukkun Knows. Stay curious, question everything, and never stop paying attention to what's not being said. And if you want to keep uncovering the truth with us, make sure to subscribe.